Let me talk my talk. Let me speak my piece. It's for all my dogs. Coming straight off the leash. She kill 'em all like the Reaper. I need a girl like Nika. She jumping out the gym on all them hoes. Shorty came straight out the bleachers. Hey, she the baddest. Hey, that girl too bad. Hey, she came through with the combo. Cause shorty too lavish. Hey, that girl she the baddest. Hey, that girl too bad. Hey, look, she came straight with the combo. Hey, look, let me talk my talk. Let me speak my piece. It's for all my dogs. Coming straight off the leash. She kill 'em all like the Reaper. I need a girl like Nika. She jumping out the gym on all them hoes. Shorty came straight out the bleachers. Hey, she the baddest. Hey, that girl too bad. Hey, she came through with the combo. Cause shorty too lavish. Hey, that girl she the baddest. Hey, that girl too bad. Hey, look, she came straight with the combo. Hey, look, let me talk my talk. Let me speak my piece. It's for all my dogs. Coming straight off the leash. She kill 'em all like the Reaper. I need a girl like Nika. She jumping out the gym on all them hoes. Shorty came straight out the bleachers. Hey, she the baddest. Hey, that girl too bad. Hey, she came through with the combo. Cause shorty too lavish. Hey, that girl she the baddest. Hey, that girl too bad. Hey, look, she came straight with the combo. Hey, look, let me talk my talk. Let me speak my piece. It's for all my dogs. Coming straight off the leash. She kill 'em all like the Reaper. I need a girl like Nika. She jumping out the gym on all them hoes. Shorty came straight out the bleachers. Hey, she the baddest. Hey, that girl too bad. Hey, she came through with the combo. Cause shorty too lavish. Hey, that girl she the baddest. Hey, that girl too bad. Hey, look, she came straight with the combo.
Hey you guys, it's Mika. Welcome to From the DMV Live with Mika. I'm your host, as I said, Mika. Thank you for tuning in. I have an extra special guest today and I'm so excited. We're all trying to fix all my technical difficulties that we're always used to me having, right? Go ahead and share the live though, please. And if you're in the chat, please tag my mom and tell her I can't send her a link because she's calling and I can't answer at the moment. But thank you all for tuning in. So my guest today, just to give you a little bit of background, is definitely one to meet. He's a very inspiring person without even trying, as we all, should be. But we should be trying to be inspirational. But even when you're not trying, you should be aware that you are still inspiring. So this gentleman is a award-winning songwriter, a producer, a singer. You see, I named inspiration first, though. He's a father, a great father, a mentor. He's a black man. A lot of great things that he's doing out here. Mr. Jarmone Davis.
Woo, 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 woo.
Yeah.
What's going on? What's going on,
I
everybody?
gotta put the camera on you. You know my cameraman. She's a little questionable. Hey, Jarmone.
What's going on? How are you, Mika?
I'm good. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here.
So we are gogomusic.com,
Okay,
right?
all right.
Did you ever see yourself being on wearegogomusic.com back in the day?
I did not, but I mean, I'm DMV born and raised, so I mean, hey.
It's in your blood.
It's in my blood, absolutely.
And I was just having that conversation with somebody. I was just talking about the fact that, like, if you're from here, like, you can't help but be exposed to go-go music, especially during, the time I grew up. I don't know about now.
Yeah.
Now, chime in and let me know if your kids are not seeing go-go music. How about your son? Has your son, have your kids been exposed to go-go?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like you said, I don't think you can grow up in the DMV and not be exposed to go-go music. Mm-hmm. It's funny because I was thinking on the way over here, it wasn't until I got older, I started getting older, that I realized that like go-go wasn't everywhere, right, and that people didn't know about go-go.
That's the crazy
because
part, right?
it's just always been a part of my life. So
without even trying,
yeah.
Right?
So when I started finding out, like, oh wow, this is a DMV thing, I'm like, I thought everybody was on this.
Well, you know what I find funny? I find it funny that we don't have like go-go music is not, as soon as you land in the airport, you don't always hear it. You can come to DC and not hear go-go music. That's
Absolutely.
crazy.
Yeah,
you shouldn't have to go to the go-go.
You absolutely right. You absolutely right.
Yeah, I think that's a really big thing. And I think more of us need to, be in tune with that.
Yeah.
So taking us down that line. So when is your first recollection of your first exposure to go-go music? The first go-go you ever went to, or the first time you heard go-go music?
Oh, my goodness.
Who did it? Who can we credit?
So the earliest, I guess, memory of go-go that I have, and just that I think I had an idea that it was go-go, was doing the butt.
Yeah, that's a good one though, for real.
Yeah, I was a kid, and you know what I'm saying. But again, as a kid, I'm just like, I'm thinking this is it was a national song.
It really was.
It was, but again, it was like I'm just, and maybe that's kind of why I just thought it was a everywhere thing, because that song was so big.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I mean, you saw the video everywhere on BET, on all that kind of stuff. So
in the movie,
yeah. So from the beginning, I just was like, okay, yeah, that's just Chuck Brown, all of that kind of stuff, busting loose. Again, it was just a part of, the music that I heard. So it didn't dawn on me until I got older, like teenage years. I'm like, oh wow, this is a DC thing, like Have Smokes. I'm like, that's a I didn't know that was a regional thing. I thought everybody was like, because House Smokes is good.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Seriously though, it seems so common.
Yeah, it seems so commonplace when you go out and they're like, what's that? Or mumbo sauce.
No, mumbo sauce. That's the one.
And so you start thinking, I'm like, wow, the world is really getting cheated, because now it seems like it's just recently
trying to get out there, right?
Mumbo sauce and different stuff like that. I'm like, wow,
that's because we started moving out of the area.
There you go.
Home,
yeah,
so we took it with
exactly. Because I'm like, oh, y'all was missing out. You mean you grew up without mumbo sauce?
Right.
You ain't had no childhood.
Literally, right? Literally, because we put that on everything. Like Frank's, right?
Everything.
We put that on everything.
Yep.
So, okay, who was the first person, or who is somebody that you remember exposing to go-go music, and what did you play for them?
Oh wow. I would say in college, well, I went to Howard University, the HU. Yeah. And so at Howard, one thing that I love about Howard, and I'm sure every HBCU, you get just a mixture of people from all walks of life, people that look like you, you know what I'm saying, but from all, and I think, we're our people, we're not a monolith, we're not all the same. So I love the fact that, we experience so many cultures from so many different places, people that, in our minds, we didn't even think Black people was,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
How about that?
Yeah, so, but all coming here to this melting. So those of us that went to Howard, but from DC and from Maryland, we were kind of like the unofficial welcome committee, because we like, we got to put you on to this. We got to put you on to this. So they hear us listening to it, and they're like, what's that? We're like, what's that? That's backyard. That's junkyard. That's,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then figuring out that they've heard it before, but they didn't know what it was, or they didn't know that was go-go music.
Yeah.
So I would say friends in college, like, because those were like, I guess, outside of my my own circle, that like people, and we had to put them on, like, this is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
So, Jarmone, for people that don't know, who exactly is Jarmone Davis? Where did he come from? How did you get into this thing called music? Why is this conversation important?
Okay, well, this is a great question, because it's actually going to lead back to go-go, and I'm going to tell you how. So, okay, so I'm again, as I said, I was born right here in the DMV. Was born at PG Hospital. I grew up in Riverdale, Maryland. Then we moved to, well, now they call it Bowie, but it used to be called Mitchellville.
Right.
That was so so it was a little so we thought we a little bougie and everything. Right. So we moved to Bowie, and so I from my childhood, my dad, who James Davis, Dr. James Davis.
Shout out to Dr. James Davis.
Who just retired from Howard University after 40 plus years.
Really?
Yep, of working there. He just always, so my dad is a multilingualist. He was the chairman of the foreign language department for years at Howard. Yep. And so he always, introduced us or exposed us, I guess is the correct word, to different cultures, different foods, because that was his love, just different cultures, languages,
Right.
And so all types of music. So growing up in my house, we heard everything from Average White Man to Michael McDonald to the Winans, Shirley Caesar, Stevie Wonder.
Okay,
So I was exposed to Celia Cruz, Latin music. I was exposed to all kinds of music, and so because of that, I just became a lover of music. And then I remember one day, my sister and I were just kind of singing around the house, and my mom said, "Wow," they call me Jar. It's like, "Wow, you can actually sing." And so I'm like, "Okay." I mean, I didn't know. I'm just singing. I didn't know. And so I do have singers in my family, but nobody really like pursued music like that. And so fast forward, grew up. I'm a church boy. Grew up in church, and so of course at a certain point, sang in the children's choir, was acting in plays, sang in the glee club at school. So I had that singer's upbringing, you know what I'm saying?
The traditional
the traditional, right. So singing in church, being a part of the choir, and just ultimately realized that this is something that I really love to do. So when I was a teenager, I met a guy by the name of Bob Terry.
Oh, shout out to Big Bob.
Big Bob. And so he was playing guitar at my church. If you are for real go head, you already know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, you should
Big
know
Bob of the infamous Backyard Band, BYB.
Yeah.
And so I met him, and so he was like, "Man, you can really sing, and you ever and I knew who Bob was, because I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
real.
he's literally a legend in this city.
Yeah.
And so he was like, "Man, have you ever considered getting serious about the music industry?" And I was like, "Well, I've done stuff here and there, but it is something I want to pursue." So he was like, "Man, I want you to come down to my studio." So I went down to the studio. He had a song that he wanted me to record, did that, and that was, I just fell in love with it. And he's like, "Man, this turned out so good. I wanted you to demo this song for someone else." But he was like, "I think you need to keep this for yourself." So I could go on and on about the story, but that just
says a lot about walking in your ordained steps.
Yeah. Recently I heard it wasn't really a debate, but I think it was Jermaine Dupri, and then there was somebody else who said something similar. There was like somebody asked, "What's missing in music?" And the answer was, it's the soul. Most of the musicians and the singers came out of the church,
right?
And there's just I mean, if you've ever been a part of the Black church experience, there's just a soul, and there's just a sound that just it's undeniable, and you hear it in Black music. I mean, that's where Black music was birthed.
Shout out to Nonfiction.
Okay.
He said, "Aren't you a gospel singer?"
Absolutely, man. I know Nonfiction. What's on? Yeah, absolutely.
That's my cousin.
Oh wow. Okay.
He did our the opening.
Oh, okay. So when you were saying, okay, I know who Nonfiction is. Okay, small world,
right?
Small world.
He's also from the DMV.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's a part of the soul music, R&B, country, any genre that you talk about is found its roots in spiritual and gospel music.
Well, the true root is from gospel music. Now, I want to ask, with regard to how we had this whole pandemic and everything, and we were all locked up in the house. A lot of things are now online. So I feel like that's changed the perception or the experience that a lot of our kids have had or are having with church.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's also lending itself to what's happening with our music?
Absolutely. I mean, again,
the automation of
the automation is it's there's just something about people who are gifted, who are creative. I miss, of course. I mean, now I'm married, I have children, so I can't spend hours and hours upon hours in the studio like I used to. But I just love that creative process, and there's just something about, and it's the same thing with go-go. You haven't really I can put this parallel with go-go music and with gospel music. You haven't experienced it until you've experienced it live.
How about that?
You know what I'm saying?
That's the truth. And you gotta say something about the fact that like go-go music, yes, if you can hear it, that's great.
Man, you
it's
can
like,
hear it. Yeah.
It's like Parliament in the Funk.
It's like
experience. It's a different
experience.
It's
a different experience until you go to the go-go, which I'm going back to one of your older questions. And because of my relationship with Bob, you know, we he would take us to backyard shows. And so my first experience at the go-go is, like I said, it's nothing like experiencing it for yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like your feet sticking to the floor. You know what I'm saying? Not being able to move. It's wall to wall in there. You know what I'm saying? Somebody dancing on you. You don't even know them. You like, you know. It's no experience like going to the go-go, and it's the same thing with gospel music. There's no experience like going to church, you know, feeling the vibrations of the instruments, feeling the spirit, being somebody falling out beside you, and you as a kid trying to figure out what in the world is. It's funny because your first experience in church and your first experience in go-go there are a lot of similarities.
They're really because
right? you try to be like, what is going on up in here? You trying to get your footing in, but
how about that first time that you find yourself singing a familiar song, right? And you look over and everybody is on the same vibration as you, singing along.
Mika, there is something that me and my friends talk about, and it's called the moment. And what the moment is exactly what you're talking about. It's that it could be something that happens in a church service. It could be something that happens in a go-go. There's always a moment in the service. There's always a moment at the go-go where this synergy happens. Like you're saying, when you look up, everybody's singing together, and you just, it's like that moment in Frankie Beverly's song, you know, that everybody sings that part. You bum. There was nothing. That when everybody at the cookout sings that part together, there's just that moment. It's just like, woo. You know what I'm saying? It makes the whole experience like worthwhile. It's like, this is what we came for right here. It's that vibration. When everybody's on one, that's how you know I'm a church boy. On one accord.
Amen. Shout out to Jesus.
But music has that power where, you know, that moment happens where everybody's on the same wavelength, and it's just like, this is why, because people will ask the question, why do you go to the go-go? Why do you go to the club? People ask the question, why do you go to church? Why? I think we all long for community. We all long to connect with people, and music is a way to do that. And so I think everybody's after that moment, you know what I'm saying, where everybody's just on it's like when you with somebody, you know, whether it's your best friend or your loved one, your significant other, or a sibling, where something happens where it be funny, or it could be something, it could be serious, and you say the same thing at the same time, and then y'all bust out laughing, like, or you look at them and it's like, we can't laugh right now, but when we leave out of here, we gonna die laughing. You can have a conversation with a person, like, we ain't say no words, but we had a whole exchange because we're on the same page.
Exactly. I love that. That's so true too.
Yep.
So tell me, okay, so you got into music pretty young, right?
Yep.
Who would you say is your biggest inspiration?
That's tough. I would probably have to say, though, if I had to decide, I have a 1 and a 1A, but no, it's 1. It's Michael Jackson.
Okay.
I mean, I'm an 80s baby. You know what I'm saying? So,
that's the
I mean, it's Michael Jackson. There was a time as a kid, I did not want to wear, my mama told me I did not want to wear shorts because I never had seen Michael Jackson wear shorts. I wanted to have on high waters. I want to have on white socks and penny loafers. You know what I'm saying?
But you know, like you said, you're an 80s baby.
Yeah.
And the fact is, they drilled certain things into us. I kind of can't quite get over it. And I'd like some apologies. Okay? So one thing is, first off, we had Michael Jackson Day at my school.
Wow.
So we all had to dress up as Michael Jackson, right? For Michael Jackson
I'm kind of jealous.
Oh, they took me around to classrooms. Right? My mother does not play. We're going to participate.
That is crazy. Michael Jackson Day.
Michael Jackson Day at school. In elementary school, yes. And then I also remember, now this is in daycare, okay? Like like preschool,
Mm-hmm.
we used to march around
Mm-hmm.
singing "Hail to the Redskins."
Wow.
We had to learn the whole anthem.
Wow.
How are you going to now change the name of the whole team? I'm sorry.
Well, here
Certain
goes another thing. True fans, they always gonna call them the Redskins.
Period. I went to the game. That's exactly what was
you don't even
happening.
have to think about it because it's like the skins like
I mean,
because that's who we are. It's like okay we somewhat understand why they changed the name, but they all
I hear you.
yeah.
But here's my thing: if you're going to remove racism from football, right?
Yeah.
First and foremost, Colin Kaepernick has to be able to play.
I
if
agree.
He can't play, then I'm calling the Redskins the Redskins.
And I don't,
win, lose, or draw.
And I don't know if this is a cultural thing, or if this is just a DMV thing. There are certain landmarks and places we going.
Yeah.
My dad still calls CVS People's Drugstore.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Gotta go to People's real quick.
Yeah, it's like certain things. It's just always going to be certain things. You can change the name. I can't even remember what FedEx Field is called now. They changed the name to something.
It's something else.
It's like Northwest Stadium or something. It's like that's FedEx.
What we won't do.
Yeah,
learning all these new names. It took us long enough to get changed from Wild World.
Yeah, right. Adventure World, Wild World, Adventure World. It's like so. It's exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's like all y'all did was change the sign. It's the same exact thing.
That is
you know what I'm saying? So it's like certain things, like you said, it's gonna be the Redskins. It just is what it is.
So that was number one. Do you have a 1B? You said you had a 1A.
So my 1B, and this is probably just as a singer. Again, like I said, I grew up. I think every male vocalist from that era, was influenced by, and you see it in the interviews, whether you're talking about Boyz II Men, whether you're talking about Drew Hill, everybody that was either influenced by the Winans or by Commission. And even Commission, Fred Hammond, we get into some music history now. Yes. Fred Hammond played bass for the Winans. He was influenced by the Winans.
Right.
And so, almost all of those groups are going to tell you either the Winans or Commission influenced me.
That's
so
true.
Marvin Winans is the GOAT. The singing wise, songwriting wise, to me, Marvin Winans, I still study to him to this day. You know what I'm saying? Because he, and of course we'll talk more about this, but he wrote gospel music that, even down to his, BB and CC Winans. When I was a kid, I thought they was R&B. I thought they was a couple.
How about that? How about that? You were not the only person.
So like
I love what they did with gospel.
Yeah. So I love it. And my brand of gospel music is like that. It's, if you ain't really listening, you might be like, this is, wait a minute, what is this?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But the message is still there in the music. And so my 1B, I would have to say is Marvin Winans or the Winans, because their music is still relevant today. And again, as a songwriter, I have a lot of people that I love, but as a songwriter, everything in one package, I would have to say, Marvin Winans. And what I'm about to say is going to be very, very controversial.
What? Go ahead.
There's a man by the name of Barry Hankerson. Barry Hankerson, he worked with the Winans. Barry Hankerson discovered someone, and he actually connected this person to Marvin Winans. And you can actually hear Marvin Winans' influence in this person's music. A lot of people have canceled this person. Oh. This person has done a lot of horrible things, but you cannot take away or erase. It's impossible to. It's impossible to erase him and his influence in music, because he has written so many hits for so many people. If you take this person away, you're going to lose You Are Not Alone by Michael Jackson. Yeah. You're going to lose My Name is Charlie, Last Name Wilson. You're going to lose Bump, Bump, Bump by B2. I'm sorry, y'all.
Yeah, that's true.
R. Kelly is one of the greatest artists. Do I agree with? Absolutely not. I believe if he's guilty of the stuff he deserves to do. But you can't take away that he is a great artist, a great songwriter. And so I would not be truthful and honest if I did not say that R. Kelly musically is a big influence on my music.
Well, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with admitting that because the fact of the matter is two things can be true.
Two things can be true.
Right?
Two things can be true.
We all know.
Fried chicken is bad for you, but I love me some fried chicken. It tastes so good.
I'm just saying, right? And sometimes, you know, we do know that creativity can come with a bit of skewed perception.
Oh yeah.
And so maybe, you know,
all artists got some stuff going on up here.
Now, that's a good question because, okay, so look, you have worked, for people who don't know, with the likes of Raheem Devon, with Marvin Sapp, with speaking of Marvin, with Marvin Sapp. But you know, how do you keep yourself from, or how have you kept yourself from going down that dark tunnel? Because we know in the music industry, whether it is gospel or secular, country, whatever you want, whatever genre you want to pocket yourself in, the beast still exists.
Right.
So therefore temptation exists.
Yeah.
How have you fought that, and how have you, you know, stayed true to your morals and values?
A big part of that is I have a family. My mama, my daddy, my sister, now my wife, a pastor that will keep it 100 with me. And when I'm not staying true to who I am, to my morals and values, they will tell me about myself.
I think that's very important.
You know, and so no matter what, no matter how far I go, no matter how, they respect what I do, they support what I do, but they also will pull me up by the collar, when I'm tripping.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're like, you ain't too high and mighty for me to tell you about yourself. And so I think that is what has helped me stay grounded. You know what I'm saying? Mamas always know. You know what I'm saying? So mamas, there have been times in my life my mama pulled me aside. Now look, son, you getting a little, as they say, too big for your britches.
I was about to say, so now look, I know you have this foundation, right?
Yeah.
But tell me, has there been a time when, you hit that blockade, you hit that wall, when life hits you so hard it might have knocked you down on your feet, off your feet, right?
Yeah.
And how'd you get back up on them? How'd you press forward?
My faith,
Tell us about an instance. Can you share one?
Let me see. Oh my goodness. Ooh, what can I share on air?
Right. I was about to say. So my premise is that they happen to us all. We
absolutely.
all have times during our life where, life makes you want to stop. It makes you want to play possum. It makes you want to maybe hit the pause button. And some of us, it makes us want to, give up altogether.
Yeah.
But it's something that's always an opportunity, I feel like, in our lives for us to turn that pain into passion or purpose, or to turn that, that blockade into, what really pushes us forward and gives us true momentum.
Yeah.
So for you, can you tell us of a time when it happened to you?
Yeah. I can think of a time where, I got one where, of course, along my musical journey, there have been a lot of what one would say failures. And so, I was a part of a group, shout out to a group called Real, with Clifton Ross, who's a phenomenal singer, and my other brother, Scott Forbes. We were a gospel group, and we had we showcased, for those who are not a part of the industry, that because I don't even know if this happens anymore, but we basically, it's like you putting on a personal concert for a label executive. And so we had done showcases for just about every major label that there was at the time. I mean, we had sung for Rodney Jerkins, Sony, Universal, all these different people, and we were a gospel group. But even still, we had got offered an opportunity to do R&B. Looking back on it, I probably should have done it, but. But anyway, but we went like for some years really going hard, and things didn't pan out the way we wanted them to. And so after the group decided, and we still close to this day. As a matter of fact, one of our group members had a birthday the other day, and we were talking about when we got to get up soon and go out. What I'm saying, get something to eat or something, and so I continued to write or whatever. We were in the studio for probably about 3 years, just working. And I really came to a place where I was like, yo, I'm about to quit this music stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's exactly what I mean.
I tried it, you know, and it was fun. I loved it, but I don't know if this is gonna work. I just don't know if it's gonna work because I don't know how much longer I can do this. And so, you know, right when I was, you know, about to feel like I was going to give up, we got that song for Raheem Devon. It's a very not gospel song, but it's a song called Text Messages. I'm sending you some text messages, but you can call them, well, you know, but anyway, yeah. So we ended up, so we got our, you know, I guess you call it our big break. Me and another one of my homies, a songwriter, Nick Bain, and we wrote that song, and Raheem recorded it, and it ended up being one of the singles off of his album Love Behind the Melody. And, you know, I got my first royalty check, and we got a chance to fly to LA to be on the video shoot. And, you know, like, it was like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and you were right on the edge.
Yeah. I was literally like, but if I would have stopped, I wouldn't have, you know, I wouldn't have experienced that. I wouldn't have achieved that. And then after that, more things started. I got a chance to work with Marvin Sapp. Different things started happening. So that has encouraged me to, even when you feel like nothing is going your way, keep going. Keep going, because eventually something good is going to happen. I mean, if you know, no matter what your dream or your gift is, if you just keep going, eventually something good is going to happen. It's like that meme of that guy. He's got that pitchfork and he's chipping away at the rock, and like it's like he stops, and right on the other side is like a whole bunch of gold and diamonds, and it's like, yo, you got to keep chipping away.
I love that. Yeah. I love that you said that too, because that brings me to my Thankful Thursday thought.
Woo-woo.
I didn't talk about it at the beginning. I normally say it at the top of the show. My Thankful Thursday thought for this week is actually the fact that you can be thankful for the faith that you have in you. You know what I'm saying? Or you should be thankful for your faith, because here's the kicker, right? God gives you this dream. He tells you, he orders your steps. He tells you walk forward, right? But it can be a little foggy out here sometimes, right? So you might not be able to see the staircase in front of you, but if you just keep walking forward, ultimately you're going to get to the destination.
Absolutely.
So I think that today we need to be thankful for our faith.
Absolutely. I'm you know, gratitude is a big thing for me, and you know, and as you grow, mature, as you go through life, you know, I've learned that true gratitude, or full or complete gratitude, is being grateful and thankful for the good and the bad. Because you probably learn more from the bad stuff than you do from the good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because it teaches you lessons, it develops character, and it prepares you for where you're going. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, well, if I learn how to press forward on this level, you know, because if you're trying to do something major, then that means you're gonna have some major opposition.
How about
you know
that?
What I'm saying? And when you're saying you want to do something that is going to be world changing, especially something that's encouraging other people, man, there are dark forces out there that do not want that to happen. So you're going to have all kinds of opposition. You're going to have all types of obstacles. You trying to you say you want to do this great thing, and you want to why am I always going through something? Why, you know, like you said, when I walked in earlier, Mika was telling me, she was like, you know, we were, you know, exchanging pleasantries, and she was like, I was like, how's your day? She's like, it was interesting, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I get it, because, you know, I'm we'll talk more about this, but you know, I'm about to put out some new music, and it's like when you set your mind to do something, like, you know, like Mika's doing this show, she's doing something positive. She knows she's gonna get in here, talk about Thankful Thursday. Again, there are forces that's like, yo, I know that what Mika's doing and what she's going to share is going to encourage somebody. And I'm about to get ahead of myself, but this thing that God placed inside of us is not just about us. It's not just for us. It's to encourage and inspire other people. So when you have a goal or a calling, as we say, to inspire other people, you are literally putting yourself there's a bullseye on you.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Because it's like I feel like you're like, I challenge you.
Yeah,
you know
yeah. Because it's like, one of my
Yeah.
things is I want to be a distribution center for positivity, for encouragement, for inspiration. I want people to leave my presence and be like, yo, I can do what it is that I'm dreaming to do, because I'm somebody, and this is nothing against, people. I don't think nepotism is a bad thing. We have this whole thing now, people, talking about Bronny and Jane. I'm like, listen, if your parents is in a position where they can put you on, that's why we work hard. Because one day I want to put my son on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I didn't, in my field, I didn't come from, there are people who are musically gifted in my family, but nobody who pursued music on the level that I had.
So they were able to say, hey, here's
So as they would say, of course it's by the grace of God and God putting people in my path because I was going after my purpose. You know what I'm saying? But as I would say, I got it out the mud. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't really have a blueprint to whatever. As I was doing what I love to do, God just brought people in my pathway. And so but I've come to realize that when you're when you have something that you want to do, like I said, a gift or a dream or calling. So now I can turn around and I can tell people, you can literally go from quote unquote nothing to something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't have no I never in a million years thought I would, write number one, charting gospel songs on Billboard and win awards.
How
and
about
that was never even in my thought or my frame of reference, because it's not even something I thought I could or would do. So when it happened, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I don't even know what to say. All I knew is I had a dream and I had a gift, and there was something inside me telling me this is what you need to be doing.
So tell me, what was the dream? What do you recall the dream being?
The dream was, making music.
Just making music.
Yeah. I saw the Michael Jacksons and I was like, I want to do that. You know what I'm saying? I think every, to some point, every kid wants to emulate, the greats. So of course, like I said, I was doing the dance moves, trying to moonwalk and all that kind of stuff like that. And the incredible thing about faith and about God is when he gives you a dream, and you may not always know it, but he gives you tools and gifts to carry out that dream. I'll give you a perfect example. Like a lot of other, black kids or whatever, growing up, I grew up in the era of the Michaels, the Michael Jacksons and the Michael Jordans. So, I used to shave my head. I used to go out to the court and, act like I was playing, have a buzzer beater moment. Whoa. It's 5 seconds left. Here goes Davis. Wow, he won the game. And so, I love Michael Jordan so much. I thought I was going to the NBA. Then I hit 5'9" and I didn't grow no more. So I had to realize, okay, I don't have all the tools that I need in order for this for that dream. You know what I'm saying? But I do have the tools for this dream, which is, God has given me this musical ability to write lyrics and to hear harmonies and you know what? I really didn't know until I got into my teenage years and even into my early 20s. I didn't know that everybody didn't have this gift.
I think that's so funny. And I was just thinking that as you were speaking, I was like, it's so funny that when you can sing, you don't really realize that, like, I'm just mimicking.
And people can't do that. There are people. They can't hear that. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know this. Like, wow. And I'm like, wow, this is really a gift.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There are some people that can just cook.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like they like what's the recipe? I'm like, I don't recipe. They just know what to do.
These just sounded like they would go together.
Right.
I've made so many things and people are like, I'm like, they just seem like they would go together good.
And so it goes back to gratitude when you realize that some of these gifts that you have, it's really special. It's something that there are people who are gifted in fashion. They can just put something together. You're like, I would have never thought to put that together, but that's dope as I don't know what. Like,
how crazy is
yeah,
that you? So I always tell people, you'll never see yourself, right?
Right.
So you know it's crazy. It's a crazy thought, but because you are you, you can only see reflections of you or pictures of you, but you can't see you.
Right.
And in that, you can't see your greatness.
Right.
No matter how hard you try, even the most cocky person you see.
Deep.
They're feigning that they see their greatness, but they don't see their
greatness. And the reason for their cockiness is because inside they don't feel like they're adequate.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
So I tell people, I say, if you think you're like a 7, you're probably like an 11 whole time.
Wow.
Like, because you have no clue how great you really are.
Mika, what is it with this whole with creatives and this imposter syndrome?
I don't know.
I was literally having a conversation with my friends, you know, early, and you know what? You got to have you some dope friends too. Yeah. You got to have you some dope friends. I have a friend of mine. He will call me randomly. One of my, as I mentioned him earlier, Nick Bain. And I'm like, yo, what's up? What's up, man? He's like, no, man. He said, I just called you to remind you that you're Jarmone Davis.
You better say that. Who did that?
His name is Nick Bain. Nick Bain.
You Nick Bain.
And so sometimes I call him. I'm like, bro, I'm just calling you to remind you that you Nick Bain. Ain't nobody like you, man. And
I love that.
What you said, Mika, is so true. So that's an assignment for y'all out there to call up your friend, call your sister, call your brother, and remind them you. It's only one you. Can't no. And here's the thing about even if people do what you do, can't nobody do it like you do it.
Say that.
You know what I'm saying? And so we are unique. We are and we have this thing because a lot of times we're fearful and we like, well, I don't want to put out this music. I don't want to do this idea. I don't want to do this podcast because it's so many people out here podcasting. Yeah. But there is something that you bring to the game that nobody else brings. There's a perspective because nobody's been through what you've been through. Nobody's experienced what you've been through. So it's just like that dish that you was talking about. You have ingredients in your story, in your dish, that is different from everybody else. Yeah. So even though somebody out here makes a good cake, when they try yours, it's like, yo, this is, man, what you put in here. Like you said, I just thought this would go together. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I can't even really tell you what I did because I was just doing what I do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, somebody out here somewhere said, you know what I'm gonna do? Throw a lychee in.
Right.
We normally do oranges.
Right.
And that was the best drink. Like,
right.
Remember when blue raspberry came
out? My goodness, yeah. Who would have thought? And it's like you hear that and you're like, oh, that's probably terrible. Right. And then you taste it, and you like, wow.
We ate everything blue for the next decade. Anything they came out with blue, we were like, oh, I want the blue one. Let me get the blue one.
But I want to go back to that point, which is you just put help a light bulb go off of me because it's like, again, we will never see, and I think that's also a mechanism that God has put in us so we won't be too cocky, too haughty, or so that we it's like a check and balance system to be like, all right, like you say, keep it chill, keep it humble, you know what I'm saying? Because we can never really fully truly see, whatever, because we're always second guessing ourselves. And like I said, that's why you need good friends around you, because I have friends that's like, yo, why are you second guessing yourself? Why are you, it's funny because every and again, we hate saying stuff like this because it sounds cocky, but every hit or every number one song that I've written, I knew it.
You knew it was a hit.
Before I even sent it to Marvin, I was like, this the one. I got screenshots that say, when I hit my homeboy that I work with, production with, I said, I just wrote Marvin's next hit. I knew it. Because I just knew it. And months later, here we go. It's on the whatever. It's on the charts. It's going in, and it's like, yo, it's like I'm great, but I knew it from the beginning. So it's like, okay, now. So it's funny because I was, I work whatever, and I was like, hey, y'all know me. I'm not a person that always patting themselves on the back, but I've done this before. You might want to listen to me.
How about what I'm saying? I might have a little bit of experience.
I got a gift, and I know a hit song when I hear it.
How about that?
You know what I'm saying? Even if it's not something I've written.
But my ear.
Yeah, you play me 3 songs, I'm like, that's the one. They like, I'm like, Trust me.
See.
That's the one right there. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just a gift. I can't explain it.
Yeah.
I can't. I was going to say I don't know where it comes from. I do know where it comes from.
I was about to say you do know.
But it's a gift, and so like you said, we can't really see the full picture. But even in that, we have to trust ourselves and we have to bet on ourselves.
Right.
Because I haven't written the song yet, but you know, I have a concept of don't y'all steal this, or if you got, or let's collaborate on it.
Right.
But,
how about that?
But it's a concept. It's like, yo, bet on yourself because you bet on yourself because you got help. You're not in this by yourself. There's my production company is called the Force. The Force Media Group, and it's because it's almost a nod to, I don't want to get sued, but it's almost a nod to Star Wars.
Right.
Because when you get into your thing, some people call it charisma, some people call it anointing, some people call it when I'm in the zone.
My bag.
When I'm in my bag, there's this other worldly power that comes about when I'm in the studio and I'm in my zone, I'm in my bag. I'm like, don't play with me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm whatever that thing is, it's on me right now. You know what I'm saying?
It's like it's in me. It's on me.
It's in me. It's through me. You know what I'm saying?
You know what that is? That's that overflow.
Right. It's that overflow.
It's that overflow. When it starts bubbling up, it's got to overflow out of you.
And so that's that thing that you have to tap into, and you have to trust that. And you gotta know you that dude, you that girl. Like when you get in your bag and you get in your zone, can't nobody mess with you.
You know what that is too?
What's that?
That's meditation.
Yeah.
So meditation, literally, people think meditation is this.
Right.
Meditation is when you're in that zone.
Absolutely.
You're in your bag.
Absolutely.
When you're just on. It's an autopilot kind of situation. You know what I'm saying? It's just you.
Right.
You know?
And it's like, you know, and it's also having that knowing that, man, I love how this conversation is going because we get into some other places I didn't know we was gonna go, but it's all good.
I have lavish conversation.
See that makes sense because this is a lavish conversation.
It's a lavish conversation.
So the thing about it is when you, like you said, when you're in your zone, when you're in your bag, when you are doing your thing, you realize that I realize that I'm tapping into an inexhaustible source. And so I remember one time I had a homie of mine. He's an artist, a singer as well, songwriter. He says, man, when you write a great song, how can you give it away? Like, you know, whatever. And I said, because I realized I can write another one.
Ooh,
you know what I'm saying? Like
just
as dope as you thought that one is. It's but it's because I realized, like you said, it's in me. And I'm connected to a source that is inexhaustible. And it's unlimited. So when I realized that changed the game for me because I'm no longer creating out of scarcity.
Exactly.
I'm no longer creating out of or being stingy with it because when I write songs, I'm like, oh, this would be great for that person. I know this ain't for me. You know what I'm saying? It's for this person, or I would love for this person to record this song because I understand again that I'm a vessel and that sometimes what I get, and so we can't be stingy in our creativity because sometimes, and listen, y'all. This doesn't mean that it's always going to be that way, but where I was in my career, that song could do more in Marvin Sapp's hands than it could do in my hands at the time. You know what I'm saying? So listen, you might have an idea and whatever, but this idea may be, now make sure you got your business straight. Make sure you got your patents, you got your copyrights. But you know, you may need to go on Shark Tank. You may need to partner with somebody that can take it, what you can make with, you know, with or the influence or the reach that you can have would be way more, and you would end up making more or because you partner with somebody that's doing it on a bigger level. So don't be stingy in your creativity. You know, what good is your idea doing? What good is your song doing? You know, in that notebook under your bed.
Sitting in your pocket.
So you know what I'm saying? There have been just, and here's the other thing. On the flip side of me knowing that some songs are hits, the flip side is there are some songs that I thought were terrible.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And somebody heard and they was like, oh, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I kill that. I'm like, wow. You know what I'm saying? There are some songs I'm like, oh, that little song, that's whatever. That was like, oh, I want that. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's realizing that you're so much doper than you know you are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And your gift goes so much, it's so much bigger than, so dream big.
And don't be
think big. Oh my God. Yeah, don't be don't be a gatekeeper.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
The late great Big Mama said.
Yeah.
You remember her quote?
She said,
all these 5 fingers, they're really strong. But if you put them all together, finger might blow.
Exactly.
Together, we're strong.
Oh my goodness. And I'll be honest. At some point in my career, I was an artist. We're sensitive about our stuff.
Yeah.
And I as a writer, I used to be a little stingy like that. Like, nobody catch the vision. Like, I don't know if they're going. But I had to learn that. Down in Star Makers, we have a rule down there. The first of all, the song is first. We're all here to serve the song. You know what I'm saying? So what that means is we want this song to be as dope as it possibly can be. And the other rule is the best line wins. You know what I'm saying? If I wrote a chorus and I think it's dope, and then we go to the next person and say, what you got? I'm gonna be honest and be like, yo, what I had was cool, but that right there, that's fire. And that would be, not only would it be stingy and selfish of me, but it also would be dumb for me to be like, yo, to hate on that person.
Right. Like,
because if we writing this song together and this thing went to Grammy, we all gonna be on that stage.
How about that?
You know what I'm saying? So collaboration is where it's at now. And as I look to expand and do more stuff, I'm like, yo, let's write, let's create. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a perspective that you have that's different from mine. Like I said, we're all unique. And now that if you write this song with me, there's gonna be some doors that we can take this song in.
Right.
That, because hey, I write pop, but I may not be as strong as this writer in pop. And so they're gonna show me some of the greatest things I've learned has come from collaboration. And it's like gave me a different perspective. I'm like, oh wow, okay, I never thought about it like that. Yeah. And it opened my eyes.
Because you only have your set of eyes. You only have your experience to grow from and draw from.
Absolutely.
When you interact or you bring that other person in, you've now doubled the knowledge at minimum. Absolutely.
And then, you've doubled it at minimum, like you said, but then there's also this exponential thing that happens because you got your thing and they got their thing. And when it comes together, it becomes this new thing.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's like, wow, it's like in New Edition, you got BBD, you got Ralph Tresvant, you got Bobby Brown, you got Johnny Gill. They are forced together, but then when they do their own thing, it's something totally different. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's still amazing. And the fact that they still, like, they done had some rough times, but it, it ain't nothing like when they all come together. You know what I'm saying?
Now, from that perspective, can you tell me what do you think has
you okay, buddy?
Kind of hindered the evolution? Well, or what's your perspective on the evolution of go-go music, and what do you think may have hindered it from making the mainstream, I guess, burst that it could and should definitely make?
Wow, that's a really good question.
Because like you said, we've had things like The Butt. You know what I mean? We've had big songs. I mean, Beyonce's pulled from go-go music. Jill Scott, but it's like it seems like we should be more mainstream.
What? It goes back to two things that I think that we've already talked about, which is let me back up. DC is the DMV is a unique place. And what I mean by that is, I have this conversation all the time. We've all heard the term starving artist. But DC is a melting pot, and DC can some ways give you a false sense of the world. I grew up seeing successful Black people my entire life. And I'm not saying that they're not in other areas, but what I'm saying is, like, I remember I was just having this conversation recently. There were a couple of years ago, somebody posted a clip on Twitter or X, but formerly Twitter. And right. It's the same thing. It's like Redskins. It's Twitter.
It's Twitter.
You know what I'm saying? But they posted, they posted a video, and they were like, driving through, and you just see these houses, and it's these huge houses. And they posted this video, and they was like driving through a rich black neighborhood. And so people in the comments, y'all, this was literally a couple years ago, was like, that ain't no black neighborhood, blah, 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 whatever. You know, like, where is this at? And they were like, this is PG County, Maryland, Montgomery County, whatever. And people literally did not believe it. For me, that's what I grew up around.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So DC is in some ways is a fishbowl, because you can be a successful artist. You can be a successful, and of course, successful means different things.
Yeah.
You can be a successful go-go band. Look, these bands be out here getting it.
They really do.
I
think people have no idea.
They be getting it.
Yeah.
Just from performing in the DMV. And so I think it is kind of giving us this false sense, because to do it on a certain level, you don't even have to leave.
Yeah,
you don't have to go nowhere. So I think that that has hindered us in ways too, because it has caused us to be satisfied. And it's like not take it further than or look to take it outside, because I'm getting it here. What I need to, you know, what do I need to scale up for? What do I need to go outside of the DMV for? You know what I'm saying? So I think that, and then the other thing is that also has given us a sense of I'm good. I don't need to collaborate.
Right.
I don't need to work with anybody else, because I got my band. We performing on Saturday night. We here.
Right.
Sunday night we here. Blah blah blah.
Right.
So I'm self-contained.
Do you think also the collaborations that people haven't necessarily pushed as hard, like you know? I mean, I hate to say we had a collaboration with Snoop at this point.
Right.
You know, his collaboration or the other one.
Right.
People haven't necessarily, the artists haven't pushed to their mainstream audience the way that they could have.
Yeah. I think, absolutely. You know, and I think, again, I think it goes back to the fact that we have such a thriving industry here. You know, that we also haven't gotten the education and about the industry, about marketing, and about those different things like that, you know, that's going to take it mainstream, because again, we have our own system here. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't, it's like, you know, it's like it's like that grandma who, she could have had a restaurant that would take one of these big name restaurants down, you know what I'm saying? And that will put it to shame because of how great she cooks.
Right.
But because she never learned the business side of things, it hindered it from going to that next level. So I think that, because that's why I say I think the success of the industry being contained in the DMV has somewhat held it back, because it's like there are some instances where we haven't learned, you know, the information that we need to learn in order to take it to another level, in order to take it to in order to take it to that next level. Okay. Yeah.
So I want to try to pull up my I have a little snippet here of a performance of yours.
Okay, all right.
Okay, maybe not that. That's not what I meant to click. You all know how I go with my technical difficulties. So let's see. I'm going to share the screen. I think that's what I mean to do. It is. All right. All right.
Ain't no need worrying what the night's gonna bring, 'cause it'll be all over in the morning. Ain't no need worrying what the night is gonna bring.
Yeah, it's funny.
It'll be all over in the morning.
Oh, my mom is there from when I was
There's a fear of nightfall. Darkness comes and it covers all of the day. Sometimes we feel pain, yes we do. There are things we can change. Just pray. Ain't no need to worry what the night is gonna bring. It'll be all over Yes,
Okay, I hear you, man. I hear you, man.
it's a classic right here, y'all. Ain't no need to worry what the night has come. 'Cause it'll be all over. Yes, it will. Oh, troubles come, but they do pass. Heartache and pain, but they don't last always. Yeah. Sometimes we feel pain. There are things we can change. Just pray. Hey, hey, hey. What the night is gonna bring, 'cause it'll be all over. Yes, it will. Ain't no need to worry what the night is gonna bring. 'Cause it'll be all over. Yes, it will. It'll be over in the morning. I promise you it'll be over. It'll be all over.
That's a great thing, too.
Oh, yeah. That's a good place to wave your hands right where you are in the morning. The sun will shine again. Hey, in the morning. I want to encourage you in the morning. If you can just make it through the night, everything's gonna be alright. In the morning, it'll be over in the morning. The sun will shine again. You might be going through a rough time right now, and it will. I can't promise you that it'll always be sunshine, but I can promise you it'll be over in the morning. You might be going through a rough time right now. In the morning.
Oh, no, you fine.
I guess I
Just
should
hold on.
Oh, no, I gotta keep it.
The sun will shine again. It'll be all over. It'll be all over in the morning. Things will get better, yes they will. It'll be in the morning. Just you wait and see. It'll be all over in the morning.
Are we back? We should be back now, I believe. I think. Let's see. We're back. Thank you for tuning in. That was awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
You all can check out Jarmone on now. Is your name just Jarmone?
That's my. Also, the great thing about having a unique name like Jarmone, it's easy to find me.
It really is, though, right?
Yeah.
We did have a little bit of difficulty for a second there, but we did misspell your name too.
Okay, you're right. But yeah. I mean, I'm on socials, Jarmone. Jarmone Davis, but my music is under Jarmone. So yes, that's where I am. If you want to check me out on
all social media.
All social media, yep.
So Jarmone Davis, make sure you all are checking him out. Now you have a new project that's coming. I do. Right? Tell us a little bit about it.
So this new project is called Journey. Again, I got shout out Big Bob. I put out a record. Almost 5 years ago, called Leap. I put it out. It was a leap year, and so the whole premise of the album, the theme of the album, was encourage people to take a leap of faith, go out there, go after your dreams. And so I literally a week or two after I put out that, and this is funny because it's coming back to a place in my life where I was discouraged, but I literally this February 2020, I put out my album, and 2 weeks later, the world shut down.
Literally, it really did.
And so I was discouraged because I had all these plans to promote my album, to put together, go do shows and stuff. And all of that was just, whatever. And there were some artists who took that and they took the lemons and made lemonade. I was so in my feelings that, as a matter of fact, this is such a great segue. That video y'all just saw was recorded during the pandemic because Star Makers we did a series of virtual performances because of the pandemic. And so that was literally like the only thing. But there were some people like Raheem Devon. I mean, he was getting it. He was doing live performances, and people could support him and stuff. And it's like, but I was so salty that I was just like, man.
I mean, it hit a lot of us.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what I mean when I say, things happen in our life that make us want to just hit like we all got put on punishment. And a lot of us had flashbacks.
For 4 years, I worked hard on that album, and 2 weeks after I put it out, it was like, what I'm saying? Yeah. So I just was, I was just in a place of like, I'm going to continue to write, I'm continuing to music, but so Bob called me at it was like summer 2023, and he was like, man, it's time for you to do another album. And I was like, okay, cool. So we came together, and as we started working, it's funny because, like I said, this conversation is just so dope because we didn't really set out to do this, but the music that we were writing ended up being stylistically like music that was inspired by the music that I grew up on as a kid. Wow. So you're talking about Motown, Marvin Gaye, the Winans, Stevie Wonder, and it was just happening organically. Like this is just the stuff that we were creating, and then just kind of this retro thing that's happening in the music right now, anyway. And so that's just kind of the music that was happening, and so we was like, what are we gonna call this project? And we came up with we're gonna call it Journey, because it is a representation of my journey. So the themes or the songs, it's talking about stuff that I've been through, my faith, but musically it's like all the stuff that the music that shaped me when I was coming up. Again, like I said, it was a wide array of things. My dad had already exposed us to a lot of great music, but then when I started working with Bob, he started exposing me to the Carpenters, Chicago and the Eagles, and these big rock power ballads and folk music. Oh, one of my favorite songwriters is James Taylor. Oh my God, Carole King. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, all of those, artists and those different genres have influenced me, and so that's why this album is called Journey, because I'm taking you on a journey. We going down. We going down. It's different. But we giving you gospel, we giving you R&B flavors, we giving you some Motown stuff. Like we just giving you all kinds of flavors on this one.
And where is Journey going to be available?
Journey is going to be available. It's the full album is going to come out this summer, but the first single called Number One is dropping tomorrow. It's called. It's going to be on Apple Music. It's going to be on Spotify. It's going to be on Tidal. It's going to be on YouTube. All of your DSPs, all of your digital outlets. That's where it's going to be. It's called Number One.
Number One dropping tomorrow.
Yep. So the name of the song is Number One. Number One is dropping January 31st. It's the first single from my upcoming album called Journey.
So is it NUMBER1 or is it the number sign?
So so it's funny because I was going back and forth about this, about how it should look. My wife was like, it should be this way, but it's NUMBER and then the number one.
And then the number.
Yeah, so number spelled out and then the number one. Yeah.
The number sign and then one.
No.
Just one.
Number spelled out and just one. Yeah,
like
there you go. That's right. Yep.
So it's this.
There you go.
All right. So everybody go download Number One.
Yep.
Tomorrow.
Yep. Make sure you go download that. Make sure you stream it, run it up, purchase it, whatever you want to do. Go check it out. It's a really, really nice song.
And so what is Number One about? Like,
So
tell us what inspired that and what part of your journey that covers.
absolutely. So I had an idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so at this time, I had been blessed to write 2 number one songs from Marvin Sapp. And so it's kind of arrogant when you think about it. But anyway.
It's really
No,
not,
I'm
though.
just
It's
messing.
such a humble brag when you
but
really
no.
think about
So I had
it. Like 2 number one songs
yeah.
from
So
Marvin.
I had an idea, and I said I want to write a song called Number One. And I didn't really know. I didn't really want to know what I didn't really know at the time what I wanted it to be about. But I was like, I wanted to be just a song that commemorate and show gratitude for the blessing that I've had. Because again, I never thought I would be able to do this. And so when I sat down to write the song, the song is a metaphor, and so it's using a song to describe whoever or number one is in your life. And so you know, some of the lyrics of the song is, "You're my number one, my number one. You lift me when I'm at my worst. You're my number one, you're number one. That's why I always put you first. Listening to you is what I want to do every day. And every time I listen, I hear something new. Run it back from the beginning and press play. You are the perfect melody, the lyrics and the key to my heart." So it's a metaphor for whoever your number one is. So I like to say that I got, if this is possible, I got 2 number ones. Okay. I got a heavenly number one and I got an earthly number one. So of course, heavenly is God, and my earthly number one is my wife, Amanda.
Shout out to Amanda.
And so what I love about this song is you can sing it to whoever your number one is.
Right.
It's definitely again, when I was writing it, I definitely was writing it to and about God, and as well as my wife. But I also wanted the song to have that dual meaning. Yeah. You know, and I think
like BB and C.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
you know, it's like, you know, perfect. I didn't write the song. I wish that I did. But, you know, one of the most popular gospel songs ever is Marvin Sapp, "Never Would Have Made It." Mm-hmm. And that song is a song that he sung to God, but it's also a song that you can sing to your grandmama. Right. It's also a song that you can sing to your sister or your mom. Yeah. I never would have made it without you. I would have lost it all. But now I see that you were there for me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So those are songs that they're powerful. They transcend time. Mm-hmm. They transcend genre. Yeah. You know, and some of the greats like, you know, Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder, they wrote songs like that. Yeah. It's like, you know, who is he talking to? Yeah. What is he talking about? Yeah. And I also wanted there to be that curiosity as well, to be like, okay, who is he talking to? Who is he talking about? And again, I wanted to be a song that everybody could sing, because everybody has somebody in their life that's important to them, that has been, that's their safe space, that has been there for them through thick and thin. And so I wanted to be that thing where it's like, man, you can sing it to your wife, you can sing it to your husband, you can sing it to God, you can sing it to your child, you can sing it to your mom. You know what I'm saying? And that's that era of that Motown good music. Yeah. It's just feel good music. Good. Oh, it's just feel good music. Yeah.
Yeah. I hate that we have lost so much of that, honestly speaking. Mm-hmm. Like there is, I mean, it's something about a good bop, yes, but it's something about a bop that has that soul to it, like you said.
And you know what? And this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, because again, I'm just to keep it a buck. This week, just yesterday, we heard about this plane crash. Yeah. And I'm gonna be honest with you, and also the music community, specifically the gospel music community, has lost a couple of very important people since January has started. I mean, tomorrow is the last day of January, and of course we're going through this interesting time in our nation. I saw a post earlier that says it seems like today is January the 3rd, 346th. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like January has been long.
It's been a long 2025.
And Mika, you know, yesterday I felt like I feel a little weird promoting my music, because I feel like there's so many more important things going on. Yeah. But then I thought about the purpose for why I do what I do. And I thought about how it was music that pushed, or that was the soundtrack to the civil rights movement. It was the Negro spirituals. It was the songs that they wrote to pass secret messages to the slaves that helped them get through the Underground Railroad. And so I was reminded that music is a tool. You know, I remember I was going through something a couple of weeks ago, and I was overwhelmed, and I just was feeling anxious. I was feeling anxiety and worry. I was in the car with my family, and it's funny because I didn't want them to know. But and this is so crazy. This conversation is so crazy because it's like ordained.
Always, really.
I turned on the Winans Ain't No Need to Worry, the original. And it took me from having anxious feelings to like, I had a woosah. I was like, ain't no need to worry.
Literally.
What the night is going to bring, it'll be all over in the morning. And so it reminded me that I should spread the word about my music because it's healing. And we need positivity right now like we've never needed before. We need feel good music like we've never needed before. We need lavish conversations like we've never needed before because sometimes lavish conversations might be the only 2 hours during the day that we're not consuming crazy stuff on the news.
How about that?
That
you get a break.
That we're not getting bad news or seeing that someone passed away or whatever. Like we're so traumatized that every time I see somebody post a picture of their grandmother, I'm like, oh no. Until I read the caption, I'm like, oh, they just talking about they love their grandmama. I thought somebody went on to glory. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because we have been trained. It's a trauma response. And so I realized that like God is like, no, the reason I gave you this song and the reason why it's coming out on January, you didn't know, but I knew that the world will be going through what it's going through and they're going to need some music. He knew that we would, before I met you a couple of weeks ago, God knew that this conversation needed to be had and that it was today while all of this was going on in the world.
While that State of the Union.
Oh my goodness, that was crazy today. Somebody needed to hear these words of encouragement. And so it's just crazy. Like, and again, you know, like we were talking about earlier, it's crazy how when there's something that you're supposed to do, you get all of these confirmations, you get all of these signs. You guys, I met Mika just at the studio just maybe a week and a half ago. And just in a few minutes that we interacted, she was like, this is confirmation. And she said, this always happens.
Literally, this always
you know what I'm saying?
To me,
and so I love the fact that, you know, and there's something that a phrase that they've coined, especially in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They call them Easter eggs. And so what Easter eggs are, they're little hidden, small little things that may give you a preview of what's coming later on down the line. And so I've realized in life that God gives us Easter eggs. He gives us these little premonitions, these little
peaks,
deja vu moments, these little you know, of course there's gut feelings, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's like there have been times where I said I really want, you know, some chicken. And I get home and my wife's like, I made chicken. I'm like, oh my gosh. You know what I'm saying? There have been times, my oldest son is 5 years old, and you know, I went home and I made some steak, and he got a palate that's advanced. But right. Oh, these post pandemic kids, they different. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. But I picked him up from school, and he's like, Daddy, I want some steak. He didn't know that I had already made some steak, which also shows me how much our Father and our God loves us. Because he didn't even know that, but he desired it, and I had already done it. You know what I'm saying? And God does that, and it gives me a picture of our Heavenly Father, because I have, one of the reasons that I have learned to remain calm under pressure, and it's not always easy, but God shows me more and more. He got it. He got it. You made like, and God may come through. When he comes through, he always come through. And you might need $59, or you might need $59, and God might bless you with 60.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, but and you might be like, but I only got $1 left. But he like, but I gave you what you needed.
I gave you that.
So now that
more than what you needed.
More than what you needed. Be thankful for that one. Well,
Yeah.
be thankful that you were able to pay the $59.
How about that?
Be thankful for that one, and now trust me again.
That I'm gonna give you.
That when you get to the next place, I'm gonna have everything you need.
Yes.
And so I'm maturing. I'm still getting there.
Yeah.
But I'm maturing to the place of understanding I may not have what I need right now, or I may not see it. But when I get to where I'm going to be, God already working it out.
He's working it out just for you.
Since we having lavish conversations, I'm gonna go ahead and go there. I love this passage. There's a passage in the Bible, and it's for those who go to church. It's a familiar passage, but if you don't really think about it, when you really think about it, it's like, yo, this is so dope. So the Bible says that this guy came to Jesus and he said that, my daughter is dying, and I need you to come pray for her. The Bible says that she was 12 years old. As Jesus was on his way to pray for this girl, there was a woman, we call it in church the woman with the issue of blood. She touched the hem of his garment. Story. He's like, who touched me? Whatever. The Bible. She said, I believe that if I touch the hem of his garment, immediately I'm going to be healed. Right. So she touched his hem of his garment, and immediately she was healed. The Bible says that she was sick for 12 years. What's so amazing about that story is the girl was 12 years old, and while Jesus was on his way to heal this 12-year-old girl, he crossed paths with a woman who was going through something the same amount of years. Right. If Jesus would not have been going to that girl's house, that 12-year-old girl's house, he would have never crossed paths with the woman that was dealing with this thing 12 years. What does that teach me? That the moment a problem arises in your life, God is already working on the solution. Yeah. So I'm learning when a problem arises, that the Bible says in James chapter 1 that when you fall into trials and tribulations, consider it an opportunity for great joy. Now, that sounds so dumb to our human minds. But when you mature in life, the reason why you should, so basically the Bible is telling us when you encounter obstacles, when you encounter trouble, you should get excited. Yeah. But the reason why, and it says, and it gives us the reason. It says, count it all joy, or it's an opportunity for great joy, because the trying of your faith worketh patience or maturity. And it says that when your faith is tried, that you'll it says perfect, but what it means is mature. So basically what that scripture is saying is, when you encounter situations that seem like, obstacles, like you're not going to make it through, get happy. Because what you're going to learn in that situation, the strength that you're going to gain in that situation is going to give you tools that's going to give you everything you need to conquer and to be who you need. So now it really is counterintuitive, but now I'm not all the way there, but I try to train myself. It's not easy. It ain't easy because you have to redirect yourself in that moment. So now when stuff happens, it's like, I remember a couple of we were we were moving into a house because we have she's 7 months old now, daughter, and I could give you two examples of this, but we were moving, and the week before we moved, I had a 2005 Ford Explorer. It was, I said, I'm going to drive this truck until the wheels fall off, and the wheels fell off. A week before we were supposed to move, my truck, it died. And I'm like, yo, we need this truck because I got to put stuff and whatever. Right. And in that moment, instead of being depressed and down, I had to say, you know what? God's going to work this out. That's right. Because he knew this was going to happen before I knew it was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? I was saving money and blah, blah, blah. And, it took a month or two, but I was able to buy another truck, cash. Now, when I started saving that money, I didn't know that that was going to happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But again, the moment a problem arises, matter of fact, before the problem arises,
I was about to say.
he already working on a solution.
Yeah.
So now when stuff happens, we can rest. We don't have to be frantic. We don't have to worry, because as a creative, where I know, because I've been worried before, it stumps your creativity.
Yes.
You can't think clearly,
Yes.
or whatever. So I want to encourage people, like, when stuff happens, you got to know that it's going to work out.
Yeah.
Whether it's good or bad, it's going to teach you a lesson. It's going to make you stronger. You always going to come out on top if you stick to it. If you stay to it. If you don't give up. The story is always going to end with you coming out on top.
Yeah, because when you really think about it, right, we've survived 100% of our bad
Listen,
days thus far.
I say this all the time. Everything that you thought you would not make it through, you've made it through.
Yeah.
The proof of it is you sitting here right now.
You
watching us right now.
Yes.
Everything you thought you would not make it through.
Everything the devil sent to knock you
Everything.
down.
Like you said, we made it through 100% of our bad days.
Yeah.
So now, when you get to your deepest and darkest hour, if you don't know anything else, you can know, I'm going to make it through this. I can make it through this.
When I found myself balled up in the middle of the street, you know what I'm saying, after my son passed away.
Wow.
So I used to tell people anyway, right? I'm an extremist.
Yeah.
Because I'm a creative.
That's what I said. I know all about it.
The sky's not the limit for me.
Right.
But so I used to tell people, like, oh my gosh, if something happened to one of my kids, like, I would just die. Like, literally. I would just lay down and die. You know, like, I really used to say that.
Yeah.
And so for my son to pass away, it was like, oh my gosh, like, my son, like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Everything shut down, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes what is the song? So after you've done all you can, like I couldn't do anything else. I don't know how I stood either. I don't know how I got off the street.
Listen,
I just know I was out of it.
Yeah, you know. So again, there's another spiritual. So we have a church in Lavish Conversation.
Yeah.
There's another spiritual concept or truth where peace that surpasses our understanding.
All understanding, yeah.
And so in 2020, my wife and I we lost a child. Our second son was stillborn.
Oh.
And you know she was far along the pregnancy, so she was like 7 months, and I had previously witnessed the same thing happen to my sister.
So you weren't new to this.
I wasn't new to. I wasn't new to this, but at the same, I had never seen my family so broken.
Right.
You know, and you know, and my sister and my brother-in-law, you know, broken. My dad and my mom, our family broken, and feeling like, man, I gotta try to kind of keep it together because everybody. I never seen my family like that. I gotta be strong one.
Yeah.
Never in a million years did I think that I would experience the same thing.
Yeah.
When the doctor told us we don't hear a heartbeat, and we like, there's no way, you got to check this again, blah 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 blah, and when, you know, whatever, and hoping that a miracle would happen, and so we, you know, and seeing my wife have to birth this child that has passed away.
Yeah.
And the amazing thing, Mika, is we look back at that time and we say, how did we not lose our minds?
That's the question, right?
How are we sitting in this hospital room thanking God?
Yeah.
Praising God, having, you know, God, thank you for the 7 months that we had with him.
Yeah.
You know, thank you for how this brought us closer together and increased our faith. And, you know, we would never, the things that God takes us through, we would never
sign up for it.
We would never sign up for it.
I said,
but you know what I'm saying? But to see how he takes our ashes and turns them into beauty, you know, to see how he takes our you know, our most ugly situations and turns them into the most beautiful thing.
Yeah,
it's just amazing. And about how now when you there are people who you can talk to now because they've lost the child and they're like, how did you get through that? Well, let me tell you.
And so now that's crazy, right? Because so that happened, and it happened to me. And the only thing I could do at that moment was use that pain as purpose or as fuel for my fire.
Absolutely.
And so now I'm out and I'm doing, I do my grab the mic series where I I do street interviews and meet up with people, because we all have inspirational stories within us.
Absolutely.
And just like I said, for some reason, we were not given the gift of being able to see ourselves.
Absolutely.
So that greatness, oftentimes, you need somebody else to remind you that you're holding it in you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I go around now doing this, and I think all the time about how proud my son would really be of my strength, my fortitude. And although I don't want to be strong. I'd much rather be a soft somebody who never withstood anything.
And what's powerful about that, and I'm reminded of this as you were telling your story, is there are things that my family did. There were things that we got serious about, financially. There were things because we had another child on the way.
Right.
Even though God decided to, or allowed him to transition,
right,
his life still had purpose.
Yeah.
Because there were things that we would not have done if we were not expecting another child.
Exactly.
And your son, look at all the purpose in his life.
Yeah.
Look. I mean, if there are things that you may not be doing if it wasn't for you having that experience, and so for the time that he was here, somebody could look at that and say, his life was cut short, and but a different perspective is no, his life had purpose.
Yeah.
Because there are so many things that have now happened, so many people that have been inspired, and because of what his existence and his life did in your life.
Yeah,
and
literally.
So again, nothing is wasted.
Nothing.
No experience. No. And he fulfilled his purpose.
So that's what Lavish Conversations are, right?
Wow.
So Lavish Conversations came from that whole experience, and the fact that every conversation I feel like that I get to have, or that I've gotten the opportunity to have since that day, is a lavish conversation, because I get the opportunity to have it.
Wow. Yeah.
And there's so many people who wish that they could be here to have even the most frivolous of conversations that we have.
Absolutely.
While you're yelling out of the window to the person down the street or the person riding past you, there's somebody else who's like, dang, I wish I could just curse somebody out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they didn't get that opportunity, or they're not here to do so, and so I try to keep that in mind at all times, and I try to keep that in mind with all conversations that I have. So while we're out here, we're dealing with our current situation, politically speaking, as a nation. I mean, we have some time to settle in and get comfortable and figure out how we're going to maneuver here.
And what I love about again, the power of gratitude is that you can't be, I can't remember, there's a great author that says this, but you can't be thankful and anxious or worrisome at the same time.
Say that.
So that's why it's so important for us to remain in gratitude.
Yeah.
One of the things that especially what we're going through right now in this country, in this nation, in this world, is you have to find the thank you in everything.
Yeah.
And so if your car breaks down, you got to say, you know what? Well, I'm great. Even though my car broke down, I'm grateful that we didn't swerve off into the river. You know what I'm saying?
I was in it. I had a U-Haul a few months ago, right? Have you ever heard of this? The U-Haul got a flat tire.
That happened to me before.
Within a mile of me pulling off.
Wow.
And I'm like, what the heck? I'm in the car with my daughters, and all I could think is, you know what? There's something that this stopped us from.
Yeah.
There's some serious situation that we just got, a moment to pause so that we didn't end up in the mix of all of that. You know what I mean? Like, you never know what you're being thankful for.
How many stories have we heard? I recently heard a story of a woman who was on her way to work at the World Trade Center, and she was in a taxi, and she got a nosebleed, and out of nowhere, and she asked the driver, "Hey, can you take me back home? Because I'm on my way to she was on her way to an interview, and her blouse was covered in blood." She goes back home to change her blouse. She sees on the news that a plane has hit the World Trade Center.
Oh my word!
3 days go by. You remember, even here in the DMV, the phone lines were jammed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
her mother was planning her funeral
Thinking that she was
because she couldn't get in touch with her for 3 days. And the last thing she knew was that my daughter was on the way to the interview.
But God.
3 days, 4 days later, she calls her mom. Her mom, of course, screams.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I thought you were dead. And she said, Mom, on the way to my interview, out of nowhere, I had a nosebleed.
That is wild.
And there are other stories like that.
Yeah.
You know, where people, you know, they certain things happen that stop them from what. So again, you just said something so powerful. That's why we have to be grateful for everything.
Yeah.
Because
literally.
in the moment you could be, you know, upset, like, why did this happen? You know, we trying to move something, whatever. But you have to know that there's somebody watching over you that knows everything.
Yeah,
and this minor inconvenience, you know, hey, this you know, this minor inconvenience was stopping you for something greater.
Yeah.
You know, it could have been a car accident. It could have been anything.
Yeah.
Somebody, you know, rob you or something like that.
Yes.
So that's why, you know, we just thank him. So now when my check engine light come on, I just say thank you, Lord.
How about
you know
that?
what I'm saying? I just
as wild as it sounds, it's so the truth.
It's so the truth because
you don't know what it's used, what it's for. You don't know
what it's for. There may be something that on this day that you're going to take your car to the shop, that there was something that was going to happen that day.
Yeah, you might bless somebody.
You might bless someone. It take you through or whatever. Again, we again the day that I came to the studio that day. It's funny because when I came to the studio, you know how you have meetings that could have been a text message?
Yeah. Yes.
So I was on my way to the studio that day and I was like, I ain't really got to come up here. You know what I'm saying? We could have done this over the phone, but I was meant to be there.
Yeah.
So that our paths could cross and that it would give, because I wasn't even supposed to be here today. Yeah, you said it's meant to be because I wasn't even supposed to be here today. I don't know who you supposed to interview, but Bob was like, well, maybe you should go ahead and do Jarmone.
You know who I was going to interview?
Who was it?
I was going to interview Bob today. So I was interviewing Big Bob today from Backyard Band. But while I was talking to him and you came in and then we were talking about your project coming out tomorrow, and I was like, well, wait. Would you mind?
Yeah, Bob said, well, he was like, it actually makes more sense for you to interview him because he's got a, you know, whatever. So so it's just crazy. Like, again, how God works things out. You know, because this was meant to happen. This was meant to happen today.
Yes, indeed. So what words would you say, or what words do you have for our viewers about the current state of our world and, you know, the things that we're dealing with right now, you know, that whole, like you said, the plane crash yesterday and the fingers of blame being pointed, and, you know, it seems like we're all buckling in for a very interesting ride.
Yeah, so
what would you say to encourage us on this?
Here's what I would say, and this is what I said right after the election. This is what I said to myself. I have, well, you could do the math, but actually you can't do the math because I don't even know the answer to this. But but since I have been born, I have lived through however many administrations there have been. And there have been varying, and I've also lived through this. We've lived through this administration once before.
Can you say that one more time?
We have lived through this administration once before.
Thank you.
I lived. There wasn't one day that I went without, eating unless it was intentional because I knew I was eating too much. I need to fast. Fast to pray, or whatever. I'm healthy. And so just like I got through that time, and just like God brought us through that time, He's going to bring us through this. We are here today, especially those of us that are, and really no matter what your ethnicity is. If you're African American or you're Black, your ancestors lived through slavery and survived. Now, yes, there were lots who lost their lives, but part of their losing their lives was so that you could be here. You know what I'm saying? Our country has lived through depressions, has lived through recessions, has lived through wars, and you and your family line survived. You're still here, which means you still have purpose. And so So my encouragement to everyone is to not drink the Kool-Aid of thinking that it's time to panic, because the one who watches over you is so much more powerful than the government. It's so much more powerful than the policies and the laws that they pass. And we've seen the children of Israel live through Egyptian slavery. We've seen our people live through chattel slavery. We're gonna be all right. Yeah. We gonna be all right. And so my encouragement is, and see, again, it's like we talked about earlier. The media, the stories, the biggest thing about this administration that I saw before was the fear mongering. And how I had to tell my parents, I'm like, y'all turn that mess off, because your whole demeanor is changing. Y'all are stressed. Y'all are anxious. Y'all are filled with worry, because y'all like, oh, he done said that. He done said this crazy. And I'm like, that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to make us anxious. It's designed to make us worry, because you're not at your best. You're not creative. You can't give the ones that need you your best, because you're worried, because you're anxious. And that's what this onslaught is. That he said some things today. And see, one of my prayers is, and it don't matter who it is, it don't have to be this person, it can be anybody. Open my eyes and help me to see the enemy coming from far off. So now
that's I can. Period. That's not even about him, right?
I can check it at the door. So when I heard what he said today, I'm like, that's meant to make us upset. That's meant to make us angry. Because when we're angry, we can't think. We can't organize. We react. We can't galvanize. We're so in our feelings that we can't sit down and say, okay, how can we organize? How can we come together? What can we do to make sure that the dollar stays in our community? What can we do to lift one another up? What can we do to collaborate and say, okay, you're not giving us that opportunity, we making our own. You know what I'm saying? It's what's happening in the music industry now, where the power used to be with the label, but now the power is with the artist. You know what I'm saying? And so it's the same thing. How do we shift the power? How do we shift? I mean, we know it's ownership. It's whatever. But if we're angry, if we're upset, if we're worried, we don't have the mental capacity. Well, we have the capacity. We're not giving the energy to what we should, because okay, y'all don't want to give us, cool. We are resilient. We're creative. That's why there are groups of people that don't like us and hate, because we got that thing on us. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why they want us to hate each other. They want us to be mad. They want us to be angry, because if y'all ever really understood who y'all were, it's a wrap. It's gonna be trouble, because we have this secret sauce. And the other reason, this goes back to what we talked about earlier, the other reason they want us to hate ourselves and what we do and what we have is because then we won't put up a fight when they take it from us. Because if you don't value it, then you won't care when we copy you. You won't care when we take your style, when we take your swag, and even though it ain't the same, you know what I'm saying? Or we'll use it and we won't give credit. We won't give you credit for it. You know what I'm saying? When I found out that the man that was demoing and singing and writing all of Elvis's music.
I thought you were going to say Elvis.
And it's like when you hear the original guy, it's like he was doing it. We thought Elvis was great, but when you hear the original, oh my gosh!
Then you realize what he was going for.
You realize what he was trying to mimic. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, yo, we gotta understand that we got that secret sauce.
It's like cheesy macaroni casserole at your grandma's house versus mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese. Yo, there's a difference.
It's a difference.
There's a difference. And what you said.
And then Hamburger Helper came out and said, we could do that.
And something you said, Mika, is so true. The reason why it cannot be, like you say, often imitated, never duplicated, is because Grandma put all that struggle. She put all that love, and her purpose for making that meal, it was, I want to feed my babies.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I want to see that smile on their face.
Right.
And there's just some, and that's the same, whatever that thing is the same thing that went into the music.
Right.
It's the same thing that went into the fashion. It's that soul that you cannot, you can't recreate it.
Right.
There's just something that comes from. That's why we still sing those songs. That's why that's why they last.
Yeah.
Because now the music is just, man, we just trying to get a quick dollar, blah blah blah. Where back then, man, when I sing with a band from time to time, and when we do what's going on, that's a protest song.
Yeah,
but
literally.
but when you hear it today, number one, it's still relevant.
Very
but
much
there
so.
is, even though the lyrics are serious, you see people dancing and smiling to that song.
Yeah.
Because there is just a joy in it. There is because it says, even though we're going through this thing, creatives, this is when you need to be creating.
Yeah.
The most.
Yeah.
Because we need, like we said earlier, these feel good songs that's gonna be like, you know what? I'm having a rough day, or today was a heavy day.
Right.
Let me go replay Lavish Conversations, because they had me rolling. They had me crying tears of joy. Let me go put on number one, because that lifted my spirits. It's like I said, that day I was feeling those anxious feelings, and it was because Marvin Winans pushed through and wrote that. I don't know what he was going through when he wrote that song.
How about that?
But he pushed through and he wrote it. Obviously, he was going through something, but he said, "Ain't no need to worry."
Right.
When the night, but it'll be all over in the morning.
Right.
Because
he must have been having a rough night.
He was having a rough night. For him to say that.
It'll be all over in the morning.
But because he pressed through and he created that song.
Yes.
40 years later, 30 years later, I turned it on because I was having a dark night.
Right.
I needed to hear that it's a dark night, but it's going to be over in the morning.
And just the same way, you in turn are then encouraging other people with that exact same song.
Yeah, with that same song. Yeah.
So I think that's so wild. I think it's very important. I think we all need to be very cognizant of that, because you never know who your light is shining on. I say all the time, the sun shines because it's the sun. It doesn't shine to keep us warm. It doesn't shine for plants to grow, but we still grow nonetheless, and we still benefit from its light. You know what I mean?
So one of those songs that I knew was going to be a hit. And this is such a lavish conversation.
I love it.
So at the end of 2019, like I said, we were writing songs for Marvin Sapp's the album that he was about to come out, and I wrote several songs to pitch to him.
Right.
And one day, this guy was a baby in the crib, and I was getting ready to get him together so I could take him. At the time, my mother-in-law was watching him. Boy, do we miss those days. But I and this is a true story. Sometimes I sit down and I actually write songs, and sometimes songs just come to me.
Right.
Because it's a gift.
Yeah.
I literally walk out of the bathroom after brushing my teeth, and I said, "God, I thank you for it all. The good, bad, the ugly, great, and small." I run to get my phone, and I start singing this song into my phone, whatever. And I'm like I'm getting like a download, and I'm like, "Oh Lord!" I immediately text one of my writing partners. I was like, "Bro, what you doing today?" "Oh, no. We were already supposed to have a writing session that day." I said, "Bro,"
really?
I said, and I still had a screenshot. I said, "Bro, I just wrote Marvin's next number one hit." We get there, we work the song out. Now remember, this is late 2019,
right?
Early 2020. We don't know that the pandemic is getting ready to happen.
Yeah, right.
We write
You don't know.
I don't know.
But... Right.
We write the song, and the song comes out, whatever. As a matter of fact, the recording was right. Yeah, it was like right before the pandemic. It was right before the pandemic, and the recording happens, and the song comes out, and people are saying this song was the soundtrack that helped me get through the pandemic.
Help me get through it.
I'm going through. I'm looking at comments on YouTube, and people are like, y'all, this is a true story. People in Africa is like, this song helped me through the death of my mother, or the death, you know what? And so I'm like, oh my goodness, these are people I will never meet.
Right.
These are people that don't even know who I am. But me, God giving me this song when He gave it to me. So we ended up winning an award for the song, and the BMI is what they call a performance rights organization. That's they're the ones that pay the award. That's how we get our money. And so we went to Nashville, and Marvin performed the song, and the lady that runs the division, the urban music division of BMI, she gets up and she says, Marvin, you don't know this, but this song got me through the pandemic. She was like, I listen to this song every day. And, and again, the lyrics are, I thank you for it all. The good, bad, the ugly, great, and small. The times of victory and when I fall. I'm so grateful I'm still standing tall. I thank you for the tears. The pain helped me overcome my fears. You've been good down throughout the years. It's a miracle I'm still standing here. All that I am is because of all that you've brought me through. And everything I've survived, it's all because of you. And so I wrote that. Now, I also didn't know that I wrote the song early 2020.
Right.
No, I'm sorry. Early 2019.
Yeah.
I didn't know that months later, my wife and I would lose a child.
Right.
So this song then became the soundtrack.
Yeah.
It was a full circle moment.
Oh my.
Because now this song that I wrote, and I see people like, oh, whatever. Now it became my thing of like, wow, I thank you for it all. The good, bad, the ugly, great, and small. Because I realize, or I've come to the realization that whether it's good or it's bad, like you said, all things work together for the good of those that love God. You know what I'm saying? And so, it's full circle, because again, what we go through is not just for us. It's so that we can inspire others.
Right.
I love the word inspire, because it means to breathe into.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
a lot of people don't know.
Yeah. It's like, it's where we get inspiration, perspiration. That spire, it means to breathe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, when you inspire, you're literally breathing life into them. You know what I'm saying? You're letting them know that. And what's crazy about inspiration is the life that you're breathing into them is life that's in you.
From you.
You know what I'm saying? So that's wild, that when we press through and we see to it that what God has placed in us is birthed. And like you said, whatever brought you to this place of doing Lavish Conversations, the life that He breathed into you is the same life that you're breathing into others by doing this. And it's a cycle. When we start to do, when we get, whatever faith, you've, and my faith, we believe in heaven.
Yeah.
And we believe that, when we get there, we're going to be rewarded for the good deeds that we've done. And the amazing thing about there is, God's going to say, all right, Mika, here go your rewards. And it's going to be so much more than what you have ever imagined. He's going to say, here are all the people that you have inspired. And you're going to say, who is that person?
Right.
And, it's like, I don't know them. Yeah, you don't know them, but somebody you inspired knows them, or somebody that you know, that you know, that you know, that you know. Right. And so that's why it's so important for us to press past fear, worry, anxiety, feelings of inadequacy to birth our dreams, because the impact that it's going to have is generational. It's so far beyond us that, like you said, these songs that we're singing are hundreds of years old. These stories, these books that we're reading that are inspiring us, they're hundreds of years old.
Right.
Some stuff that we, is thousands of years old. Yeah. And so it goes. So it ain't just about you.
Right.
And so to even like you said earlier, your feeling of inadequacy is even selfish because it just shows that you really don't know who you are.
So let me tell you, right? How crazy is this? I met this girl. Her name is Sonita. Hi, Sonita, if you're watching.
What's up, Sonita?
So she said, we were talking about pride, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about how prideful it is. You know how people have, they have inflated, sense of ego.
Right.
Just the same when you have inflated sense of insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
It's still just as prideful when you're walking around thinking everybody's thinking about me.
Wow.
You walk into a room and you're like, oh, they're looking at me. Oh, I'm looking awkward. Well, guess what? You're putting way more on yourself than you should be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so those feelings of inadequacy, why aren't you good enough?
Yeah.
What makes you, why are you so special that you're not special?
Wow.
You know what I mean? If God made all of us, if we're all fearfully and wonderfully made, why were you so special that you're saying he left you out?
Yeah.
You're just not special.
And that's why I said it's like you said, it's weird to think about it that way, but it's true. There's even pride in that.
Yeah.
To say, I think
She blew my mind.
That's deep to even think that I know better about myself than my creator knows.
Yeah.
If he says I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, he's the one that made me.
That's it. That's all.
Like you said, we can't fully see ourselves. And so that's where trust comes in.
Yeah.
Even if and so this is powerful because faith and feelings are not the same thing. You know what I'm saying? faith and feelings. The Bible, it doesn't say that the just shall live by feelings.
Right.
It doesn't say that, we live by feelings. It says we live by faith.
Right.
So even when I feel inadequate, I have to have faith that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made.
Right.
Because feelings happen, feelings are conditional.
Yeah.
But the truth of who I am means that even when I'm not feeling my best, and relationships teach us that.
Yeah.
There are days where I don't feel like being a father, but I still gotta be a father.
You still gotta go to work.
There are days where I don't feel like going to work, but I gotta go to work.
No, I meant the father.
Yeah, I still gotta go to work because that's my identity. That's who I am.
Exactly.
And so it's the same way with the things that we're desiring to do and things that the things that we've been made to do is, we that's who we are. And so because we have to walk in that identity and know that even when I don't, if I want to relate it to music, even when I'm writing this song and it's like, it ain't feeling dope, I still got to know it's dope. I still got to know. I got to have faith. Like, no, you're dope. This is what you do.
Yeah.
So even if you don't feel like it's your best, it might be somebody else's best. It might be the best for the artist you're writing for.
That's the absolute truth. And you know how grief is. You know how life is. Period. So it's cyclical, right?
Absolutely.
So we have what? Good times and we
have bad times.
The bad times, right? Yeah. Just like you just said, right?
Yeah.
But the kicker is, in appreciating those bad times, it makes it so that those good times are so much more better, right?
And like I said,
so much harder, right?
And again, that's what, and that's why we got to learn to be grateful for, and not just the big things, but the little things as well.
The little things.
Oh my goodness! And as I said, we have to train ourselves to be. If we really stopped and thought about everything that we could be or should be grateful for, we wouldn't even have time to worry. We wouldn't have time to be. That's what I was looking for earlier. You can't be thankful and negative at the same time. Because it's like, I don't have, everything I want, but I got gas in my tank. Right. May not be full tank, but I got some gas.
Right.
I may not
get where I need to
I may not be wearing the brands that I want to, but I got clothes.
Right.
Maybe dinner wasn't all that, but I ate something.
I'm full.
You know what I'm saying?
Hungry at this moment.
Or I got enough fat reserves that if I don't eat tonight, I'll live. You know what I'm saying? So like I said earlier, we have to find the thank you in everything, because if we truly stop and look, there are opportunities for gratitude wherever we look.
Yes, like Amanda said, thank you for it all.
Yep.
Yes, thank you for it all. Every time.
Oh, that's my baby. That's my wife.
Hey, baby.
Hey, boo boo.
Shout out to
You see mommy's name at the bottom?
Yeah, that's the truth though. Like, for it all, in every situation, no matter how good or how bad it feels at that moment, like you said, feelings are not faith.
Feelings are not faith, and it's so we're human, so we feel all the time.
Yeah.
So that's why that's why the life of faith is not for the weak.
Not at all. Not at all. And you know how you see those little posts about God gives his toughest
battles to his strongest soldiers. I don't. It's like, Lord,
nobody ever.
I don't want to be no strong soldier.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I did not say I wanted to be a strong one.
Yeah, but every day, like I said, because we are in this physical existence, we from the time we wake up to the time we go to sleep, and sometimes even in our sleep, we feel.
We're susceptible.
And so we're susceptible.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I'm saying this jokingly, but sometimes we wake up and my wife, she side-eyed me because of dreams she had.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No, that happens.
You know what I'm saying?
Joking, but it happens.
No,
I was about to say
it does happen. So that's what I'm saying. We're, and again, as when you guys, y'all feel on a deeper level. You know what I'm saying? So we're always feeling, and then you turn around and tell me I'm not supposed to live my life based on all these feelings that I'm having.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that is difficult. And so again, I found myself, like we talked about earlier, fighting every day, because when you wake up and you go to put on, you had an outfit in your mind. And then you put it on and you realize, it's got a stain on it, or I can't fit it like I used to. That's the worst. And there is a feeling associated with that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You left, you thought you left on time, and you get on the beltway and traffic is like, boom. There's a feeling associated with that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like you thought something was going to go a certain way, and it didn't go that way. There are always these things. What happened today? The craziness that he said today. There's a feel. So again, we have to redirect ourselves and say, you know what? I'm not going to live my life based upon this feeling that I have. And that's difficult, man. Yeah. That's difficult.
But at the same time, right, we're not going to live our life based on those feelings, but we have to be also cautious not to stick our head in the sand.
Yeah,
because we can't put our head in the sand for the next 4 years because too many things are happening too quickly that we need to be aware of.
And something I'm learning, because I'm one of those people, and maybe that's a creative thing, or I don't know, Virgo thing. I'm a fixer. I like to fix it or whatever. And sometimes it's just broke. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That?
And sometimes and for me, I don't, like I said, especially, being a guy, I can retreat. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And not really feel my feelings or pay attention to them. But sometimes it's in, what's the word I'm looking for? Exploring those feelings that you find that God gives you the material for inspiration. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's an old song. It says, if I never had a problem, how would I know that God could solve them? You know what I'm saying? I have truly known or discovered God to be a provider when my finances was tight.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? Yes. Since we just being, we put all our business, not all our business, but it's been a little tight the last couple of months. Yeah. But me and my wife have found ourselves thanking God so much over these last few months, because we like, man, God, you're so good. Yes. We ain't lack nothing. Right. Our bills are paid. Right. Might have been 5 minutes late. Right. You know what I'm saying? But they got paid. Yeah. And so it's in those moments. So to ignore those moments would be to rob us of the richness and of the experiences. So I'm learning that too, to not just, because like I said, I call myself the positivity police. And I remember one time, I'm telling another story. I was talking to, so I'm the type of person. Now I do believe in telling people not to be negative. Right. But one thing that my wife helped me with is I was talking to one of my friends, and they were being a little negative. And I was like, man, da da da. And she was like, babe, you don't even give them an opportunity
to get it
out and to feel what they're feeling. Let them feel it. Let them get it out, and then say, all right, now okay, you might be feeling in the pit, but let's not stay there.
But you do want to allow them the safe space to get it out.
And I used to do the same thing with her. And so she helped me realize, okay, baby, hush up. Let me say what I'm saying. And then after I'm saying what I'm saying, then ask me if I want some input. You know what I'm saying? That one. I'm learning, babe, do you want me to say something? Or you just was venting? You know what I'm saying?
right, so look, I just looked up. I'm sorry.
Oh,
it was
yeah,
just
our time
5
is
o'clock, and now it's 6 o'clock.
It sounds like we need. It sounds like at some
Yeah.
point we need to come and do
We're
a
definitely
part
going to
two.
do a part 2. We have to. I knew this was a meant to be conversation, but I had no idea how many gems were going to be dropped and how pertinent the conversation was going to be. If you didn't catch it from the beginning, definitely go back and catch the replay. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, we're Lavish Conversations on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe and look at some of our previous conversations.
Mm-hmm.
You can always check us out on wearegogomusic.com. I'm here every other Thursday, but I do set my notifications.
And share it to your page.
Make sure you share it,
definitely.
people... These were some gems, some amazing words, and God was definitely moving in this conversation. So can you give us some final words, though, before we go, on why existing is just not enough in this world right now?
Existing is just not enough because you have something inside of you that the world needs. And there are literally people that are waiting to receive what you have. I'm reminded of a scripture that says all of creation is waiting for the manifestation of the sons and the daughters of God. And there literally is something that the world needs that you have. And for everybody is different. You know, your audience may be 50 people or maybe 50 million, but the impact is no different. Because those 50 they may go on to impact 500 million.
Yeah.
And so no assignment is too small, no assignment is too big. Whatever assignment God gives you, He's going to give you the tools for it. He's going to give you the resources as you go on your journey, walk after your purpose. He's going to connect you with every person that you need. He's going to give you the resources, as they say. What if it's oh my gosh, what do they say? I can't think of it. But anyway, the point is, if it's God's will, it's God's bill.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to know that He's going to provide the resources.
Yes.
He's going to give you everything. But I will say this. Some blessings, you know how when you go to the grocery store and the door doesn't open until you get close to it?
Yeah.
Some blessings are motion activated. Sometimes the door is not going to open till you start moving.
Yes.
So you got to start moving. You got to start walking. And when you get close, the door may not open until you get right up on it. But it's going. But trust me, at the right time. Sometimes you don't know step 2 until you take step 1.
Yes.
So take that step. Do something. This song for me that's dropping tomorrow, #1, get it on all platforms. And I know we got to go, y'all, but I'm leaving with y'all. Take a step. Do it. Stop overthinking. Stop thinking less of yourself. Just do it. Even if it quote unquote fails, we don't lose. We just learn.
Yes.
Even if it fails, you're going to learn something. You're going to learn what works. You're going to learn what doesn't work. The biggest thing is just do it. Nike said, just do it.
Yeah.
I promise you, after you do it, you're going to be better than you were before you did.
Thank you so much, Jarmone. I appreciate you coming
Thank you
through.
for having me. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you, Mrs. Davis, for letting us borrow him. You have to come through for part 2.
Absolutely.
As I said, catch the replay. And until next time, you all continue to be the best you can be, because there's literally nobody out here better suited for that job than you.
Yep. Peace.
We'll talk to you soon. Now,
hey, look, let me talk my talk. Let me speak my piece. It's for all my dogs. Coming straight off the leash. She kill them all like the Reaper. I need a girl like Nika. She jumping out the gym on all them hoes. Shorty came straight out the bleachers. Hey, she the baddest. Hey, that girl too bad. Hey, she came through with the combo. Cause shorty too lavish. Hey, that girl she the baddest. Hey, that girl too bad. Hey, look, she came straight with the combo.